Today on TOKKANTE, we're doing the big Christmas reveal. So I bought an IWC, although probably not the one you guys think. So last week in my video, I said I would do a poll and ask you which watch you thought I would buy. Now, you have to remember that I filmed those videos 1 week in advance, so for me the poll was just released 2 days ago on Friday night. But as it stands today, the vast majority of you, 32%, thought I would get the Black Bay 58, unsurprisingly. And then after that, you thought I would get the Nomos Neomatic 42, then the Big Pilot 43, then the Pelagos FXD, and last, the automatic Spitfire. So I did get an IWC. Now, without further ado, let me show you which one it is. Ta-da! So I got the IWC automatic Spitfire in bronze, no less. Did that surprise you? Well, to be honest, I surprised myself with this purchase. If I look at the poll results, actually the least number of you, only 13%, thought I would get the automatic Spitfire. So let's talk about that. First, I'll go over why did I go with the bronze version. Second, I'll do another review, mostly comparing it with the stainless steel version, and we'll look at the case, we'll look at the dial, we'll talk about the movement a little bit again, and then we'll look at the strap. But then, finally, I want to talk about whether I will keep it or not. Hi everyone and welcome, I'm Ben. So this week I've decided to do things a little differently and do a faceless video. I think you guys have seen enough of my face for this year already. And since it's very warm in Hong Kong still in December, it's about 25 degrees today, I thought I'd do a video outside in a natural light. So this is the harbor right next to where I live, and the ferry is just arriving at the Hong Kong station. So let's jump right into it. So first, let's talk about why I chose to go with the bronze version. When I made my video about the automatic Spitfire, the stainless steel version, I mentioned how that watch could basically be my perfect daily wear. Even the IWC staff at the time, when I was hesitating between the automatic Spitfire and the Big Pilot 43, told me to go with the automatic Spitfire, and then I'll come back later for the Big Pilot 43. But then why the bronze then? Well, that's because if I went with the stainless steel version, I wanted to add the optional stainless steel bracelet after. Well, not really optional, but the bracelet from the Mark 18. The thing is that bracelet is extremely expensive. It's $1,700 US. And if I got it from the boutique, I would get no discount. Even if I got it from an AD later, if I just buy the bracelet, I'm sure I wouldn't get much of a discount either, maybe 5%. So, you know, in the end, I know myself and I think I just wouldn't buy the bracelet, because if I'm gonna pay $1,700, I could just save a little more, and maybe for $3K, I could get the Grand Seiko SBG W231. So I think if I'm not gonna go with a bracelet, then that opens the door to the other version, the bronze version. So now, you know, bronze, I know that in the poll that I did about what's the best material for an everyday watch, 80% of you selected stainless steel, only 2% of you selected bronze. But I tell you, bronze is actually a better material than you think for an everyday watch, and I'm going to talk about that in the next section. Then there's the dial, right? You know, I have a small collection, and all my other watches are basically black dials or dark dials. My Sumo is black, you know, Speedmaster is black, the Longines Legend Diver is black, the Rolex is a dark rhodium, it's basically all black. I had Tissot is black. This, you know, gave me the option to go with a green dial, and I think it's the right kind of green. It's not a flashy green, it's a military green, so that's also one consideration. Also, this is the thinnest of the bunch. This one is 10.6 millimeter. It's even thinner than the stainless steel version, which is 10.8. But because the case back here, as you can see, is titanium, the watch appears even thinner. It's really, really thin, and you know how much I love a thin watch. And then eventually, finally, it's the opportunity. I wasn't actively looking for the bronze, but then I found this watch on Carousel, an app for, you know, pre-owned goods or all kinds of stuff you have here in Hong Kong. And this watch was selling for brand new, never worn, dated from May 4th, which is my birthday, May 4th, 2021. For 35% off the retail price, and that was really good, but still I was hesitating, and I didn't contact the seller. But then after about a week or 2 weeks, he put it at 40% off. 40% off for a brand new IWC, and it was even cheaper than I could get the stainless steel version at a great dealer or at a discount at an AD. So then I contacted him, and we met, and I asked him about the story about this watch, where did he get it and why he was selling it so cheap. And then he told me his version of the story, and that may be true, and I think there's also another possibility. The first one is that his friend actually wanted to buy a Submariner from an AD here called Europe Watch and Jewelry. And in order to get the Submariner at retail price, he was forced basically to buy 2 other watches, an IWC and a Cartier. And on each one of these watches, he would only get 5% off, which means that basically the AD can get the money back from selling the IWC and the Cartier at almost retail price and sell him the Submariner at retail price. So he had to buy those 3 watches, and then he resold the IWC and the Cartier to him at a little bit of a discount, maybe around 5,000–6,000 Hong Kong dollar less. So which means for him he was paying 10–12,000 more for the sub, but which is still very reasonable, and he was not losing much on the IWC and the Cartier. So that friend bought those 2 from him, kept them since May. He had them in his collection. He's an avid collector, never wore them, and then eventually now he's selling them because he wants to buy an Omega Apollo 8 in ceramic before they stop making the 1861 movement. So that's why he was selling it at 40% off. Everything was working. We met at a subway station. I checked, and I mean, it was a very, very good deal. It came with everything, with the boxes, the manual, the original receipt from Europe Watch and Jewelry with a 5% off discount, with the tag, even with the plastic that was on the case back, everything basically. Now another possibility I think that exists is that in Hong Kong some ADs actually will sell inventory on Carousel or other apps in order to basically just get rid of them, because they have to meet their quotas and they have to sell a certain amount of watches every month, otherwise they will lose their dealership. So it makes sense, because I know that on IWC, for example, or Zenith, I think the margin for ADs is around 45%, on Rolex is 37%, so they can still sell this watch at 35% off or 40% off and still make a small margin. So I've seen this happen on other watches. I've seen a Zenith that was 106,000 retail, Zenith Defy 21, selling on Carousel brand new at 56,000, and that's also from the same AD. I've seen a few other IWC and a few other watches selling both from Europe Watch and Jewelry, and then Emperor and a few other ADs here. I think that's what's happening, or that's a possibility as well. If the original story wasn't true, I think the other option is that it's just direct someone from the AD just selling them at 40% off. But either way, it doesn't matter to me. This is a very, very good deal, 40% off a brand new watch. I just couldn't pass it off, and I decided to go with the bronze. Now let's talk about the IWC bronze, because it's a little different from other kinds of bronze that you'll find. I mean, it's very different from the Tudor bronze, and it's different from all those micro brand bronze. The bronze from IWC is a special alloy that's made of aluminum, copper and iron. So basically they say that it's 50% stronger than a regular bronze, and it's just as strong as stainless steel. So that's one thing. Now bronze is about 8 to 10% denser than stainless steel, so it would normally make the watch a little heavier. However, what they did is that they are using a titanium caseback only on this version with a Spitfire aircraft here. And the titanium, of course, is very light. So in the end, the watch is not any heavier than the stainless steel version, but it is thinner. And also I get 2 exotic materials, basically bronze and titanium for the price. Also, the IWC bronze has a very high biocompatibility, so if you're worried about getting green wrists, it's not going to do that. They claim that it can actually be used for food packaging and is totally safe. In terms of finishing, so the bronze case, one of the differences with the stainless steel case is that it does not have any polished bevels on the lugs, as you can see here, and there is no polishing anywhere on the case at all. It's not brushed either. The finish is basically satin finish everywhere. Which is very scratch resistant, and because of the bronze patina that will develop, or that has already started to develop, the bronze patina is extremely scratch resistant also. You basically can't scratch it off. So it will make this watch even more scratch resistant than the stainless steel version, which is a very good option for daily wear in the end. So looking at the dial here, we have a green dial that's a right kind of military green. It's a green that is not going to go out of fashion, kind of like the reed green dial on the CQ Glasuteur Original that I like. A few differences with the stainless steel version. Number one is the hands. The hands are rose gold plated, whereas on the stainless steel version they are rhodium plated. And the number one difference, I think, and which appeals to me, is that they are white loom instead of the faux loom that you'll find on the stainless steel version. Here, the only faux loom that you'll find are on the 4 cardinal points and then the 2 dots at 12 o'clock. But the hands are white, and I think it's a better match overall with the dial, so I like that a lot. The red text also will not jump as much because of the green dial. On the black dial it will jump out more, and some people dislike the red Spitfire text also. And then in the end it's just a much warmer dial. You can see that with the bronze, I mean this green with this bronze, it's just a cool look, to be honest. Now, talking about the movement quickly, so I've already talked about this movement. You can go and watch my review about the automatic Spitfire. It's the same movement. Just a few things that I wanted to add. So yes, it's a 21 joule, 4 Hz, 28,800 VPH. It has a bidirectional pole winding system that is derived from the Peloton system, but it's not quite the same. But basically, it's a very smooth winding that will allow to make use of any kind of small movement from your wrist to wind the watch. It has a silicone escape wheel and palette fork without any lubricant, and then for the other part it has some special lubricants that allow a service to be done only 8 to 10 years. So 72-hour power reserve, 3 days. It's a good movement, but of course I was criticizing that it's not exactly in-house. So I've been reading more and more about it, and also comments from IWC watchmakers, apparently on some forums and on Hodinkey, saying that this version of the movement was actually developed jointly between IWC and Val Fleurier. The base movement that is also made for Cartier or for Baume & Mercier was done by Val Fleurier. But then all the improvements basically were designed together with IWC. Then it's manufactured by Val Fleurier and it's delivered to IWC in parts. So they do not get the movements already assembled. They just get the parts and then they assemble it in the IWC manufacturer, which allows them to call this movement in-house. Now, am I still happy about how they call it in-house? No, I still don't think it's totally in-house, but it's still a very good movement nonetheless, and I'm very happy with this movement. In terms of accuracy, so IWC does not send the movements to be COSC certified. They just guarantee that they will not run slow, they will only run fast, between 0 and +9 seconds. Now, I've seen reports from people who have actually put comments on my video and contacted me, or things that I've seen on other forums, that they usually run very tight, like +2, +3, definitely better than +5. So apparently it's still a very good movement, and no one else has mentioned that a little quirk that I had mentioned, that when you push back the crown and the minute hand jumps, and apparently that's been fixed and no one else is mentioning it. Now let's talk about the strap quickly. So, I've said many times that I'm not a strap guy, I'm a bracelet guy. That doesn't mean actually that I don't like leather straps. It's just that in Hong Kong it's very difficult to wear a leather strap because the weather, it's very humid, it's very sticky, and then just in the summertime there's no way you can wear a leather strap because it's gonna be all sticky and gross. And this is why I usually prefer metal bracelets, because you can wear them all year long. So this one, no choice, it comes on a leather strap. I think in the winter, no problem, I'm gonna be wearing it on the leather, but then comes May, possibly even April, I'll have to change it to a fabric strap. So, I looked on IWC website, they have many different options. I can also, it's a 20 mil lug width anyway, I could put any sort of straps on there, but maybe I'll put an IWC one. It doesn't really matter, very strap friendly. Now, will I keep it? That's a good question. That's a bit of an odd purchase for me, and I had not even considered getting a bronze watch when I started looking for a daily wear, and I never thought I would end up with this watch. I mean, the stainless steel, yes, but not this one. I think it will depend on how the bronze patina changes over time. So this watch is from the 4th of May 2021, so I bought it about 2 weeks ago, so that means it was 7 months old. The patina has already, started to settle, and it's really not bad at all, and it's very even. And I was afraid that in Hong Kong Kong weather it was going to be all gross and stained and very dark, but it's really not bad at all. I kind of like how it turned out. It's a bit darker than the brand new models that you'll find in the store, but it's quite nice. So I think if it stays this way, you know, I'm happy with it. It's good. If it goes darker and if it looks, you know, kind of dirty, especially the lugs get really dark, you can always reset it. So IWC told me in the boutique that, you know, I should not try to do it myself with the lemon juice and the baking soda like you find on YouTube. You should bring it to them and they'll do it for you at the service center here in Hong Kong. Now, I don't know if they just say that because they want to charge me for it or if, you know, I could just do it myself. They claim that if I use lemon juice, it will actually corrode the metal, it will damage it, and later when I bring it for service, their watchmaker will say, well, the case is damaged, you need to change the case, and that's very expensive. I think it's a lot of BS, to be honest. I can probably do it myself, but so I'll see. I could always reset it and then I'll decide, right? Start over, or maybe I'll reset the patina and then sell it. It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, I pay 40% off for this brand new watch. I'm pretty sure I could resell it for very close to what I paid for, possibly even more. I don't know how the demand for this watch is going to be, but you know, it's a three-hander, it's 39, it works very well, so I think it's always going to be somewhat popular with IWC aficionados. And then, you know, if I resell it, I could switch to either the stainless steel version if I still like this, or I could upgrade to a Big Pilot 43 because by then they will have, I'm sure, come out with many other models. So in conclusion, first, I realized that I just forgot to do a wrist shot. So here's the wrist roll for you. This is how it wears on my 6.75 inches, 17 centimeter wrist. It wears very well, very light, very thin, very comfortable. I think I'm quite happy with it. I guess the conclusion is, you know, try something new. I never thought I would buy this. You know, take a risk, try something different. It's a hobby, it's supposed to be fun. And, you know, who knows, maybe that'll get me into IWC more. I don't know. So Merry Christmas to everyone. I think I'm not going to do a video next week and the week after next because my videos come out on Friday night, so that's going to be Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve for the next 2 weeks. So I'll probably catch up with you in January and start a new year, maybe with a new concept, I'll see. So thanks a lot for watching. Remember to ask yourself what makes you tick, whether it's bronze or something else. Subscribe for more content and I'll see you next year. Merry Christmas.